Hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Dose of Sass. I've realized something over the last couple years since I've been living in my size body. Honestly, I'm grateful to I've realized first of all that I used to okay, back up. I'm all over the place here. I used to fluctuate so much. Thanks to my binge eating disorder, my weight was all over the place. And I'm really grateful, one, to have realized that the last probably 2 years, I've kind of stayed the same size. And the reason that's so significant to me is because one, I fluctuated a lot during my binge eating disorder. And then two, recovery from that, I gained a lot of weight. And I felt like at one point that I was never going to stop gaining weight. And so to have come to a point where I've found a happy medium, if you will, a happy extra large. I'm just glad that I feel like my body's kind of settled. Something else that I've realized over the last couple of years, and this is me speaking from a place of thin privilege. I do have a little bit of privilege because I am, even though I exist as a plus size, as a fat, as a curvy girl on the internet, I am not the fattest person ever. And so something that has occurred to me in the last couple of years is a sudden awareness of weight limits on things. Like I know I'm not 3,000 pounds, so I'm not going to stop an elevator, but I do think about, okay, I'm bigger than everybody else in this elevator. It's starting to add up. Oh my gosh, one thing that drives me insane is stadium seating. Keaton and I go to a lot of concerts. We also go to a lot of sporting events. And let me tell you, that is the absolute worst place to sit ever. My hips do not fit in those stadium seats. Some are worse than others. Thankfully, Oracle Park, where we watched the San Francisco Giants, is doable. We sit in the nosebleeds. One of the worst places is Ball Arena, where the Denver Nuggets play. We've been to two games there, and I don't fit in those seats. And I say that as a size 16, 18. So I'm very aware of anybody else in a larger body around me. Like, how are you sitting right now? Like, you must be so uncomfortable because I am. And that's just something I didn't experience as much as a kid, as even a younger adult, that I'm hyper aware of now. I do still fit in an airplane seat, but the belt is at its max capacity. And just general weight limits. One thing, for example, is my walking pad. And this is why I never shut up about my walking pad, is that majority of the ones on Amazon that you can find stop at 200 pounds. And as a girly who is over 200 pounds, that's so freaking annoying. It's so annoying, but also it's something I was never aware of when I was under 200 pounds. I just never thought about it. And now I'm hyper aware of it. So if you're looking for a walking pad, by the way, or any exercise equipment for that matter, check the weight limits if you're over 200 pounds, because to my shock and surprise, that's where a lot of them stop. Maybe 250. But as someone, I don't weigh myself. I haven't weighed myself in years, so I don't actually know exactly what my weight is, but I want to say it's around the range of 230. Well, I'm stop at 250, and I'm like, okay, I might fit that, but also if it's meant to hold my weight and be supportive and not break down with frequent use, 250 is not going to cut it. So I look for something that's 300 plus. My walking pad goes up to 300. I have another one in my Amazon storefront that goes up to 380. Of course, it's more expensive. So annoying. Can we talk about how I'm like, where do I want to go? This gets me fired up. Every single day, I get comments that are like, just go to the gym. As does anybody who exists in a fat body on the internet. This is how the world works. They tell fat people to go to the gym, but then the equipment doesn't hold them. You don't make active wear that fits them, and then you make fun of them when they're there. So where are they supposed to work out? And if you're like me and you happen to be working out on your walking pad at home, then people go outside. That's not good enough. Go to the gym. It's not it's not a welcome place. Everything is against us. Anyway, I do want to talk more about my walking pad though. I got my walking pad last year for Christmas. The reason I got it is because I was still in my corporate 9 to 5. If you are new here, or I didn't really make that big of an announcement about this. So if you happen to miss it, I only started doing content creation, social media stuff full time as of July 2023. So prior to that, I've been in a corporate marketing job for a few years, for almost 4 years. No, Yeah, 4 years. And during the pandemic, we spent a lot of time working from home. And so I like got a sit stand desk. I was like getting my work from home setup going. But after sitting, and like also, if you happen to follow along on Instagram of my trying to find an office chair that fits dilemma. Oh, yeah. Another weight limit that I'm aware of is like freaking office furniture. Hello? And that was the thing, is at my literal corporate office, the chairs that they had there were so uncomfortable. Like only for me. Like it literally like made my butt go to sleep. And we had like sit stand desks, so I'd try to stand, but like standing is not comfortable for a long period of time. Maybe it's, and I wear Hoka's like every day at home because that's what I wear on my walking pad, but I'm not wearing those to work if I can help it. I'm wearing like cute shoes, right? So they're not going to be the comfiest to stand and work in. I literally had to go find another specific chair that was not meant to be a desk chair in the office that had a little bit more hip room, a little bit more booty room, so that I could sit comfortably at my desk. Before that, we spent like nearly 3 years working from home. So back to my work from home setup. I didn't have a comfy office chair. I did end up getting a sit stand desk, but like I said, standing was like not really that helpful. And so I was like, I really, really want a walking pad. And like, to be honest, this is not me about to say, like, to be honest, it wasn't worth it. No, it was. But there was a small part of my brain that thought, well, hey, if I walk all the time, maybe I'll lose weight. Maybe my body will change. And like, I hate that those thoughts still exist and still pop up sometimes as the first like few thoughts in my brain. Because I truthfully was like, I am so stiff at the end of the day, sitting in my office chair for 8+ hours, plus 8+, because like my workload was all over the place. I could work anywhere from like 5-6 hours a day to like 12 on any given day. So I spent a lot of time sitting at my desk and I felt so uncomfortable afterwards, so stiff. My back hurt. I was just like, ugh, I'm tired of sitting. So I did really want a walking pad to help with my mobility. But there was a tiny little pea part of my brain that said maybe if you'd walk a lot, you'll change your body without even trying. And I have to tell that part of my brain to shut up. That's not the point. But I have to acknowledge that it's still there and I still fight it all the time. Anyway, I got it for Christmas. Then for the next 6 months, my last 6 months at my corporate job, I did use it a lot at home and I love it. I love it. I noticed like an immediate difference in my like ability to focus. I thought it was going to be really difficult to adjust to walking and working. It was surprisingly easy because, and here's the main kicker is like with the standing desk, my arms are not moving. Like I can walk and type because my wrists are stable. The upper half of my body isn't really going anywhere. So it was surprisingly easy to adjust to walking and typing because you're just using your desk for balance. And I'm looking forward by looking at my laptop and doing work. I couldn't really multitask. I couldn't really look at my phone because then I was looking down and it honestly got a little bit more clumsy when I did that. And so it was really great for me to like solo task, set my phone down, set my little cube timer and like crank out work. And I felt so much better at the end of my workday from not sitting for 8+ hours. Like so much better. I didn't use it for 8+ hours a day, but I would use it for like a couple hours a day. And even just having that break from sitting was like a massive game changer. Better focus, ability to single task, solo task, whatever. And then there's something, I don't know, I don't have, like, I'm not diagnosed with ADHD or anything like that, but there's definitely some neurodivergency situation happening up in this little brain of mine because one thing that I'm really good at is like balancing a million tasks at one time. And I don't mean like time management, but I can walk and type an email and sing along to a song at the same time. And I just feel like, what the heck is that about? Giving my body something to do, walking, increased my ability to focus. And then I slept so much better. This was a giant difference for me. Is I realized like if I had spent a good amount of my day walking by the end of the workday, like I felt so good and I slept so good. Well, and here's the other thing about getting used to walking and working is that you're not sprinting. My typical walking and working pace is like 1.6 probably. So I'm not running. Now, if I'm like reading or watching TV, like I'll pick up the pace. But for walking and typing, I'm going 1.6 miles per hour. Another thing people always ask, How many steps a day are you doing? Like, how many miles are you doing? I truly don't know. That is something that I never really paid a lot of attention to before. Like, I do have an Apple Watch that tracks my steps, but I don't really actually pay attention to the amount of steps that I take. So obviously I'm taking more when I'm taking my, like, when I'm using my walking pad, but I don't have those numbers for you. Maybe this year I will do a better job of like comparing my amount of steps on a walking pad day versus a non-walking pad day, just so you guys have a frame of reference. There are plenty of walking pad girlies on TikTok, on the internet, whose goal is weight loss focused, or who make a big deal about the amount of steps, the amount of miles, the amount of calories they burned in their day. You're not going to hear that from me. If you're on a weight loss journey and you're using a walking pad, more power to you. It's not what I'm doing, because I genuinely, like I said, love it for my like mental focus and how I feel at the end of the day and how I sleep. And just like my general mental health is better. I feel like so much happier when I've used my walking pad for a good amount of the day. And I notice a difference when I haven't used it for like several days. But I will say it has gotten more difficult now that I'm not in a corporate job and I'm in an influencer job. I don't have that much like sit down computer work anymore. I try to save it all for like a good chunk of time so that I can use my walking pad. So I'm not necessarily using my walking pad every day like I used to. I've also used it to do things like cozy cardio or walking and reading. So if you don't know what cozy cardio is, there's a creator on the internet, Hope Zuckerbrow. And she coined this concept of cozy cardio where she gets up like early in the morning. She's in her sweats and her sweatshirt. She's in her cozy clothes. She puts on like maybe the movie she was watching the night before, maybe her favorite show. She's got cute ambient lighting. She's got her little protein coffee. She's got her water. She's got like a cute little cozy setup, and she walks for, I don't know, an hour. And you don't have to do a walking pad to do cozy cardio. The whole point of cozy cardio is making it cozy, making it something that you enjoy, not making it overly complicated, not making it, you don't have to wake up at 5 a.m. and go to the gym if you don't want to. If that's not a cozy environment for you, you can crawl out of bed and hop on your walking pad or hop on your Peloton or hop on your, like, I have my little elliptical thing from Bowflex. It could be walking outside with your dog and you're all bundled up in your cozy clothes. Keyword here is cozy. So I have been using my walking pad in the same way that Hope is. Watching Gilmore Girls, maybe reading. I like to walk and read. And then the thing about walking and reading too is I feel like I'm killing two birds with one stone, because I find that at the end of my day, and this has been like a thing for like a majority of my adult life, I feel like every evening after work, you're kind of like, what am I going to do with my evening? Am I going to like relax and have time for myself, or like, ooh, maybe I should go to the gym, maybe I should work out, maybe I should do the laundry, maybe I should do one of these like things that I feel like I need to do, should do, have to do. And I felt like I always was choosing between, do I want to relax or do I want to go to the gym? And now I am happy because I am choosing to walk and read at the same time. I don't have to choose between which activity I'm supposed to be doing. I saw a few people having this conversation a few months ago where they're like, is the walking pad craze diet culture? And I want to talk about it because I think it depends. It depends on your intention. It depends on your purpose. It depends on like where your heart and your mind is at. For me, like I said at the beginning of this episode, there was a tiny little pea part of my brain that said, well, maybe you can lose a little bit of weight if you use a walking pad. Sorry, I felt like I had to talk in a pea voice for that. I can't deny that there was a tiny part of me there. There's still a tiny part of me now that goes, hey, well, what if I commit to like 3 days a week on the walking pad in 2024? Then maybe by the end of 2024, I get angry every time that thought pops into my head because it's so shallow. Truthfully, like, shouldn't you think like by the end of 2024, I want to be like happier, healthier, a better person, a better friend, feeling successful in my career? Not like, how can I be the smallest version of myself? You can't be the best version of yourself. You can't take up more space in the world. Be the change you want to be if you're focused on being the smallest version of yourself. Okay? Rant over. So back to, is the walking pad diet culture? It depends. My question to you is to think about your why. Because you might even tell me, no, I got it because you rave about how you like your mental focus and how you sleep better and all that and like that. I'm just trying to feel good. And I believe you. I do. But ask yourself if there's a tiny little part of your brain like mine that goes, well, yeah, I hope I feel good, but also maybe. So it comes down to how much of your brain is telling you, well, if I do this, then maybe. my body will change. It also comes down to the other part of your why. Are you doing this because you think you should be? Are you doing this because you think you're like being super, super efficient? I need to be at work, but I also really need to go to the gym because that's something that's like expected of me in society and it's also good for me in my physical and mental health, that I'm going to do this so that I can do both at the same time. And like, I'm superhuman because I'm killing two birds with one stone. I don't think that there's necessarily anything wrong with that, she says hesitantly. It just comes down to your why. It just comes down to what are you thinking in your brain? Being 100% honest with yourself about why you're doing this. And if you find yourself, here's the thing, is if you've just gotten a walking pad or maybe you had one for a while and you find yourself feeling guilty for not using it, red flag. If you find yourself continuing your workday longer on purpose so that you can keep walking in hopes that it will provide physical external benefits, red flag. But I honestly feel like I have a normal, healthy relationship with a walking pad where I'm like, my day is not a failure if I didn't use it today. So I think it's something that's important to be aware of. Be aware of your why. Truthfully, think deep, deep down in your heart. Climb back to the little P portion of your brain and say, what are we thinking back here? Another thing that might be helpful if you feel yourself going, I don't know, I'm kind of entering beige flag, red flag territory with my relationship with my walking pad, is maybe don't track it. Take your Apple Watch off for the day and focus on how you feel. If you're going, oh, I've only been walking for 20 minutes. I should walk longer. How do you feel though? Be in tune with your body. There is no right or wrong amount of time to be on your walking pad. Same with any kind of exercise. There is not a right or wrong length of time to work out. And if you don't have a walking pad, if you listen to this whole episode and are not a walking pad user, that's fine. You don't have to have one. Maybe you don't have a desk job. Maybe you love to walk outside. Maybe you like to run. Maybe this is just not even something that you've ever thought about doing, and that's okay too. This is not a you need to buy a walking pad episode. This is let me talk about why I have mine, how I feel about it, and whether I think you should have one. And if the answer is, it depends. All that to say, it's been a year of me having mine. I love it. Anyway, happy walking. Oh yeah, and a reminder, if you're going to get a walking pad, to check the weight limits. Thanks for listening to this episode. I'll talk to you soon. Sincerely, your plus size walking pad girly.